Hey, what's up, people? This is Ike Love. I'm creating author of the blog, The Viable Alternative, is an inspirational blog where I share the wisdom insights gained along my path to becoming a very stronger version of myself. And if you want to go on the website, you will see the window where under the window it says description, and you click on that, and you'll see a link for www.theviablealternative.com. So, as you can see, I'm back from my vacation in Europe because you see the familiar environment, and I kind of wanted to discuss with you in this video where I'm at and where I see myself going, where I will be, and where I will be going from this point. Obviously, I'm still kind of basking in the triumph of having completed a goal, which has been a big deal to me because, number one, when I initially set the goal, it seemed quote unquote impossible, but I just had the will and determination to make it happen by hook or by crook. And number two, I did something that I really liked doing, traveling and exploring and seeing new places and just exploring cultures. So that's very important to me because it fulfilled part of what's on my heart. And this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. But so where I'm at now, here's the interesting thing. So I am basking in like the just the glory of having completed something. And there's just this like respect for myself, like a raise in self-esteem. It's like I've often talked about in videos, and I'm working on a book on this, but one of the ways that to increase our self-esteem is by stepping out of our comfort zone. And in one of my videos about how to raise your self-esteem, I explained that when you step out of your comfort zone, obviously you are in a place where you fear, where it's quote unquote a threat to yourself, your well-being, your ego. And what you're doing now in the course of process of becoming comfortable outside your comfort zone, you are growing, but you're also going through an experience with yourself. And when you go through an experience with yourself, when you you fall on your face, you get back up, you face your fears, you face your obstacles, you go through trying times, you have to dig deep within to pull things out of you that you didn't know you had before. When you do all these things, you get a greater, stronger bond with yourself, your true core self. It's kind of like, when a group of guys or two guys or a group of guys on a sports team, and they go through a whole season, and maybe they go and they win the championship, or even if they don't win the championship, they maybe made the playoffs for the first time in 15 years of school history, so it's a big deal. And they may have had a lot of setbacks in the season, but all those ups and downs and trials and tribulations brings the group closer together. The same thing is like, when you go with somebody on a journey together, a trek on a journey, you having shared a similar experience brings that bond with that person closer. So in the same token, when you step out of your comfort zone, you are automatically going to, if you stick with it, develop a stronger bond with yourself because you're going through this journey, this harrowing experience with yourself. And you creating that stronger connection to yourself is what increases your self-esteem because you have a greater connection to your core self. So, I just feel a greater sense of respect for myself. I feel a greater sense. I just was walking around and just was like, giving myself dap, giving myself props, and I want to continue this. So that's number one. Number two, when traveling, I experienced such a sense of freedom. I'm like, why the hell will I not want to now continue to pursue this? So where I'm at now is like, I am completely determined, and I'm saying this to you now here. And I usually like to keep my personal business to myself. That's why I didn't tell anybody I was going on the trip until I was actually on the trip. But I am determined now to really now lay a firm financial foundation for myself, something I didn't have before. And I'm going to get into all this thing in the video here. But number one, I'm explaining this to you to keep myself accountable. Just let me tell you something about myself. Maybe a positive thing or negative thing. I'm very vain. I'm a Leo. I'm a double Leo actually, so I'm kind of vain. For good, for better, for worse. But the vanity helps in that I don't like to lie or like be fake or like, because my whole fear is that if I lie or be fake and I get caught, I look like a complete fraud. And I don't want to look like a fraud in front of people. So therefore, I just try my best. I mean, okay, dude, I have I have my own issues. I'm not perfect, but I try my best to keep it real. And by me putting this out there and then me deciding to falter in this declaration will be a huge embarrassment to me. And I feel that, despite, as well as disappointing to people watching this, it's just being a disappointment to myself. And for me to live with myself after faltering something I said I would do is just unthinkable to me. That's why I'm explaining this to you now, to hold myself accountable, because I'm really dead ass serious about this, to get my finances together. I mean, I've said this year, but I'm really now on a really true mission to do that. Wow, where do I begin? Well, first off, what I'm doing to that extent is not so much getting my finances together let me just say this, by learning to master the laws and the mindset behind money. And I've kind of been learning that this year. But it was interesting because, so the day after I came back on Monday night. Tuesday I decided to take off because my body was telling me to take off. And I listened to my body. I just was kind of still spiritually drained. I was lying there and I got a call from a partner of mine I worked with, real estate, colleague, partner, whatever, saying that the landlord I had been working with that initially had given me that the exclusives back in February had decided to give the thing to another broker for the simple fact that I guess I didn't properly communicate to my partner that the person that they hired needs to be kept abreast, and I just gave him her info and gave her his info, but that was that. And so now I guess he was upset about that and decided to give the account to the broker. So I'm sitting here, day off on vacation, just lying in bed. It's early morning, and I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to now call the dude and email him and basically beg him to give me back the account, because I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make money? This was like my bread and butter for the past couple of months and was a contributing factor in making this trip possible. But my colleague said something to me very deep and very interesting that I should have known better because I kind of learned. She says, never chase money. And I was still freaking out after I heard that. But, after I settled down a bit, I was just like, she's right. The people I know who really have money always coming to them, they don't chase money. And I realized in this situation, I was like, instead of, there's a goose that lays the golden eggs. I was focusing on the eggs, not the goose. The goose is God. And God is the supplier of all my needs. But I was focusing on the eggs. And really speaking, he was the one that gave me this opportunity. So why am I focusing on one egg? If it was meant for me, it will find me. And if it was not meant for me, it will leave me. So therefore, maybe this was meant to go, maybe not. But the point of the matter is, I can't really stress out and chase some dude and have him be the master of my supply. And I have to put my mind towards the master, the one master, the creator. So that's one of the mindsets I'm working on cultivating about money. Also, that money flows freely and effortlessly, and not to chase money, because I've done that before and it never works for me. I know people who chase money for some reason, they chase it, it works, but for me, it does not work. I have a mentor who was one of my inspirations initially for traveling back in last year when he traveled for 6 months out of the year around the West Coast and different parts of the country. Let me tell you, man, the guy came back. And the guy has not worked or done any gig for like 6, 7, 8 months. He's just been bluntly just chilling, just enjoying life. And he told me he just saved a bunch of money and he has no care. He just doesn't care. Like he says, yo, Ike, money just flows to me. And he actually gave me a long talk before I left for Europe. It just says how he doesn't worry about money. And, and therefore not worrying about it doesn't cause him to chase it. So one of the mindsets I'm cultivating is not to chase money. Treat money as something that comes to me freely and effortlessly. It's kind of the same way when you're dating. When you're desperate for a partner, the partner flees. Money is kind of the same way. It's like courting a girl, or a guy if you're a girl into guys. If you chase that person, they will run away. If you just now be attracted to that thing, you will attract it. So that brings me to the next step, attracting money. I realized through therapy, and it was like a key word my therapist said about the mindset I had of deprivation. I lived in a limited or scarcity lifestyle for a whole bunch of years, a good part of my adult life. And my excuse is, well, I have to live a certain way because money's not coming. But I guess it's like the kind of question of whether what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Was I living in deprivation because of the lack of money that I had, or did I have a lack of money because I was living in deprivation? And I guess one fed the other, and I had to somehow step back now and cut off one of the cut off the loop. And so I chose to enter the equation into the deprivation. It kind of, when my therapist said the word deprivation, I realized how much I was playing into this. And so for instance, now when I went to Miami last year, was part of me starting to slowly, even though I didn't really realize the deprivation thing yet, but was the whole thing when I said screw my circumstance, I'm going to Miami anyway. I didn't have the money to go as long as I did, but I went for a little excursion. I think that was starting the wheels turning into breaking the mindset. But as of this year, I remember when I did a 3-day fast, God spoke to my heart and told me to change my environment, to start to paint my room. And my mentor confirmed it, even though I didn't tell him I was going to fast. He said, yeah, I was going to tell you to go change your room, change your environment. And I realized that I set up my entire environment in response to my quote-unquote deprivation. So I had to go now and change the way things look to get my mind off being so focused on deprivation. So one of the things I did, like I said, I started painting my environment, changing my room. What I also did, I started giving away a lot of my clothes to the Salvation Army so that I can make room for more blessings. Now, what I've also started to do, it's kind of embarrassing, but I wasn't a big cleaner. I mean, I'm a clean person. Don't get me wrong, man. I use a special type of soap for my face. I use toners. I use a moisturizer. I make my bed, I'm tidy, but in terms of cleaning the house and cleaning around, I really wasn't really keen on that, And I made a vow to myself, I'm gonna start cleaning a lot more often, like clean the bathroom. It's my job to do the bathroom, but I wasn't doing it as frequently as I should, which is kind of disgusting because I like cleanliness, but I wasn't doing it. And that's a reflection. Part of it was, again, I would say I don't exactly know, how I'm fully gonna confront this scarcity issue and everything like that. I'm just kind of feel like I'm being led. I'm just doing certain things so I can put my mind better at ease. So when I came back that day, the day after, I cleaned the bathroom. I cleaned it the week I left when I was leaving, and I cleaned it again. I'm just gonna be like a cleaning person now because I just feel somehow or another that's gonna start to break up this whole deprivation mindset and kind of encourage finances to come to me, because I realize our money problems are never really about money. It's other habits that we do. Another thing I did earlier in the year was when I had a huge amount of clutter on my desk, and I cleaned it. I cleaned all the clutter on my desk. So yeah, and so now on top of that, I am going to now, because I realize that the way that people gain wealth in this country is through real estate investment, starting their own business, and investing in stocks. It's not through winning the lottery. It's not through inheriting money from your great grandmother who died or whatever and bequeath your fortune, because that's rare. And it's not by, these are sometimes work for some people, but for the most part, the tried and true ways are real estate, stock investments, and owning your own business. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing now, I'm putting money aside so I can open up an E-Trade account to start investing in stocks. Because, again, my excuse for not doing it before is not having enough money. Well, you know what? Shut the F up. I'm going to now start putting a little money aside till I open this damn account. And this is a statement against my circumstance. I don't care how long freaking it takes. It's now time for me to start manning up and taking care of my financial future, my wealth, my well-being. And I don't care how long it takes to raise the money for that. Yeah, I can open up a little account in Acorn or Stash or whatever, but I want to do what I know I'm doing, because I used to help my dad open up E-Trade and everything like that, trade stocks in E-Trade. So I'm opening an E-Trade account and really start getting more serious about investing and investment. Also, I'm focused now on really completing this first sample of my underwear line I've been working on. I'm working the underwear line, really completing that. I'm still working through the logo, and I really want to have a sample before the end of the year. And so yeah, I really just want now to start creating a lifestyle as if I already have everything that I seek. This trip taught me freedom. This trip also gave me like momentum, and this trip also gave me confidence, and also started making me ask myself, why am I not living this more full time? And like, again, I don't really know where I'm going, what I'm doing. I just really feel like I'm following the spirit, and I'm damned now if I continue to live in this pathetic deprivation mindset I've been living through for how long. It's disgusting, it's embarrassing, and I'm done with this. I'm completely done with this now, man. And so I'm taking care of that. I'm trying to do the little things in my life now that I think, or undo the things that I've been doing in the past that kind of fed this deprivation mindset. Anything I'm gonna do, cleaning my place, saving money, open up investments, and not chasing money, not worrying about money. Initially I had a plan of traveling again at the end of the year. It was actually my fervent goal to do that, but I'm going to be changing it now, and I'm just going to focus for the latter part of this year on just my finances and just getting my shite together. To get my shite together and to really just be a proactive part of living how I want to live. And hey, if something happens to me, because tomorrow's never promised, and I die tomorrow or I die before this happened, at least I never friggin' decided not to give in to my circumstances. At least I took a bold stand. So if my life becomes nothing else, it's the fact that I stood up to my circumstances and stopped being a victim, stopped lying on the floor and lying on my back and saying, I don't have, or this and that, and create my life because, I don't get enough. Screw all that, If I were to die tomorrow, then at least I made a stand that I am not going to live like this anymore, and that's what promise to myself. I'm just putting out here that to share with anyone else. But this is the declaration, and this is the now focus that's in my life now. To start to lay a legacy and foundation for future generations that come from me. But first, before the future generations come, my own self, so I can start to live to how I want to live. And I'll also be focus on the projects I've been working on and things like that, and just really learning to imbibe the principles of money. I remember one of the things my father taught me. My father, has done well for himself in life. That stuck with me is that he said to me, any penny you gained dishonestly, you will lose 10 or 20 or 100 times that amount. And I was one of the tried and true things that's always stuck with me. Him showing me that. I always try and be honest with money. That's one of now the things I'm going to really internalize and deal with money, and learning to come up with the ways that I deal with money and the mindset I have towards money. Also, being giving with money. And before I go, I'll say this, and it doesn't have to be necessarily money, but I've always made it a point, on the subway, if someone asks for a swipe on the Metro card, I give them a swipe. Unless I'm in a huge rush, or I know I'm coming back in the station within 5 or 10 minutes where I need the Metro card. Because there's an 18-minute limit, and but I always swipe. And let me tell you, the times when I needed money on my card, and the token booth clerks were being annoying or difficult, whatever, someone has always come up to me without me even asking, says, "Yo, I'll swipe you through." So I know now that the money is a flow. It's not necessarily about money; it's the flow and the mindset behind it, and how you deal with it and the attitude you have towards it. So this is where I'm at. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm going in life right now. I just want to take the bull by the horn and really now change this part of my life. Like, again, I made the declaration earlier in the beginning of the year, but now this is this on a higher level. It's time to get serious, and I'm just going to do it. So, hey, I'm just stumbling along this. I'm not trying to give anybody financial advice. I'm just giving you advice of don't let your circumstances walk all over you, Whatever works for you from that works. I just say that I'm now stumbling along trying to figure this thing out, and this is what has come to me, and I know that somewhere or another between my stumbling, I'll find a solid solution down the line that will lift me to another level. So anyway, I hope all this helps. If you want to read more on my blog, go to www.viableterm.com. If you like this, what I had to say, please share this video. Please subscribe. Leave a like or comment. And yeah, take care. God bless and peace.